What's going on, my fellow advocates? Reggie B coming at you once again with another YouTube video. Reggie the Growth Advocate. I appreciate you all tuning in. So, in this video, we are going to be talking about strength training. So, before we go any further into this discussion, into this topic, I want to ask you a question. I have a question for you, my fellow advocates. And that question is, what is your favorite strength training activity? As I'm talking to you right now, feel free to type it in the comments below as you're listening, as you about to tap in, as you about to tune in. What is your favorite strength training activity? Feel free to type that in the comments below. Maybe you like to work the upper body. Maybe that's your primary focus is working the upper body. It could be push-ups. It could be bench pressing, right? It could be working your arms. It could be working your shoulders, perhaps your back. Perhaps you like to have that big, broad back. Maybe that's a primary focus for you as well. Another option, another activity is leg day. We must not forsake leg day, right? Because it's great that we primarily focus on the upper body, whether it's the chest, shoulders, or whatever. It's great that we focus on that. But I feel like there are some of us out there that forsake leg day. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta tell you, man, sometimes I be seeing people, they looking crazy, man. They all built and swole up here, you know what I'm saying? But they have these twigs for legs, you know what I'm saying? Because they have forsaken leg day. So that could be another great strength training activity. Is that your favorite? Working the legs. Do you incorporate any type of hit training when it comes to your strength training, which is what's that hit training? It is high intensity interval training. That's something that can be done. That's something that I've done before personally. I've done hit training. I've incorporated that into my strength training where you're just going nonstop with very little to no breaks. And you're just going nonstop on those moves, whatever it is. And you keeping that heart rate elevated. You got that blood pumping. But hit training, that's the thing right there. So once again, type in the comments below your personal favorite strength training activity or activities. You might have more than one favorite, but if you do, go ahead and type it into the comments below. All right, now let's get on to this information that I want to share with you all. I'm sharing with you a few benefits, just a few benefits of strength training. So before I share this information with you, I definitely want to direct your attention to the show notes. As I was doing some research on this topic, strength training, the benefits of them, I made my way and I found two websites. And I'm going to make note of those two websites in the show notes. That way you can kind of go back, you can check out those two websites. Um, there are a number of benefits that these two websites mention. There's a number of them, and I'm only going to share with you a few. So check that out. So here we go, y'all. Here we go. So let me share with you the first benefit of strength training. Benefit number one is that it increases muscle tone. So strength training, some might refer to it as resistance training. There may be a slight difference. It may be the same difference, whatever the case may be. But it is stated that resistance training is using your muscles to work against weight or force. So, resistance training, strength training, one of the benefits is that it increases muscle tone. Along with that, it could also potentially increase muscle mass as well. That's another benefit of strength training, which increases muscle tone. And when it comes to resistance training, when it comes to strength training, a lot of us, there are some people out there who like to go hard. They like to max out their reps, right? So if you think about push-ups, you think about bench pressing, those two specific activities. I've seen people max those out. They just keep doing it, they keep pushing until they can do no more. And that's great. You can do that. But along with that, if your goal is to build muscle, perhaps it's ideal, according to the research I've done, perhaps it's ideal to aim for doing sets, doing repetitions instead of maxing it out. So you can probably do 3 sets of 10 or something like that, or 5 sets of 10, 5 sets of 8, or whatever the case may be. Find that sweet spot. So yeah, so if you're looking to build muscle, if that's a goal of yours, then perhaps you should consider doing it in reps, doing it in sets. So that's the first benefit, is that it increases muscle tone. The second benefit that I would like to share with you of strength training is that it improves functional strength. Now think about, the things that you do on a daily basis. There may be at least one thing, maybe two, maybe a few things that you do which is beneficial to you in regards to strength training. You think about strength training, right? You think about the activities that you engage in. Some of those particular activities that you engage in regards to strength training can be beneficial to you when it comes to functional training. The things that you do on a daily, right, that involves these following movements, which is squatting, which is lifting, which is twisting, pushing and pulling. Think about those things that you do on a daily. A lot of those things that we do on a daily involves those type of movements, right? So think about it. For example, if you're carrying something from one place to the other, maybe you're carrying groceries from the car to the house or to the store to the car, whatever the case may be. So that's one thing to consider. Another thing is that moving something with a significant amount of weight, right? Just for example, if you moving furniture from one side of the room to the other, strength training could be very beneficial to you when it comes to that, right? And squatting while you're performing certain tasks, something as simple as just squatting down to, just to pick up something off the ground or pick up something off the floor, that type of thing. So yeah, that's definitely a benefit of strength training, is that it improves functional training, something that you do on a daily basis. That's simple, y'all. So that was the second benefit. The third benefit that I would like to share with you when it comes to strength training is that it strengthens our bones. Strengthen our bones. Have you thought about that? So when it comes, excuse me, y'all. So when it comes to strength training, naturally it puts stress on our bones, which in turn it sends signal to our bones to build up their strength. And with that, as we strengthen our bones, it gives us the potential to combat osteoporosis. Ain't that something? That's really a great benefit. So that's another benefit of strength training, is that it strengthens our bones. The fourth benefit, the next benefit I would like to share with you, is that strength training enhances mobility and flexibility. So maintaining these things when it comes to mobility and flexibility, maintaining these things are important for our overall well-being and quality of life. So that's a great thing, right? It allows us to move around much easier. Just move around with free flow, move around with ease, right? And move around with less pain. That's what it's all about, right? Because if you think about it, something that I have observed over the years is that, I've noticed people be moving around, just walking around, if they're going to and from somewhere, and you can tell that, there is some type of pain. And you never know how severe the pain is that they are experiencing. But you can see people limping around. You can kind of see their facial expression. You can kind of see their body language that they're in pain, right? And it's unfortunate for these people, right? We definitely want to, have sympathies for these people. But along with that as well, I feel like, strength training can definitely be beneficial to us and other people who are feeling discomfort, who are feeling pain when we're moving around, because it enhances mobility and flexibility, right? And it also improves sports performance. So whether you're a professional athlete whether you are a semi-pro athlete, you may not even be a professional athlete. Maybe you're somebody who like to play pickup basketball, or you like to play flag football. Maybe you join a league and you play flag football. There's softball leagues out there. Maybe there are people like myself who like to play tennis, ride bicycles, that type of thing. So whatever sports performance activity that we engage in, strength training could be very beneficial in regards to that. And also, there have been multiple studies out there that suggest that doing at least 3 sets of multiple exercises increases a person's flexibility. Something to keep in mind, y'all. Something to keep in mind when it comes to strength training. That's the fourth benefit of strength training. All right, we moving along, y'all. We are definitely moving along. The fifth benefit that I would like to share with you in regards to strength training being very beneficial to you is that it reduces the risk of falls or injuries. So building up our muscles and strengthening ourselves, this in turn helps us support our balance, posture, and movement, which is very important. So if you find yourself losing your balance from time to time, if you notice that you have poor posture, or you just kind of moving around kind of gingerly, it's very difficult, it's very challenging for you to move around, consider strength training for that as well. So the last benefit that I would like to share with you when it comes to strength training is that, and this is probably one of my favorites, this is actually a personal goal of mine, right? The last benefit that I would like to share with you is that it decreases abdominal fat. I don't know about y'all who are watching, but for me personally, that's something that I'm working on. That's something that I am a continued work in progress, is trying to decrease the abdominal fat, trying to trim up some of this fat around my waist, around my stomach. That is something that I am really focused on at this very moment. And I know it's been a while. It's the battle of the bulge. Many of us, including ourselves, we are engaging in battle, engaging in war with the fat that's around our abdominal area. But strength training will be very beneficial when it comes to that as well. And if you think about it, this is something that I picked up from others, and of course, just doing research over time. But it's very important that when we are engaging in strength training activities, that we engage our abs. So if we're doing push-ups, make sure your abs are engaged. If you're working on your shoulders, make sure you engage your abs. If you're doing squats, just be intentional. Just be intentional in engaging those abs, and that can potentially help us decrease the fat around our abdominal area, right? The unfortunate thing about fat being around our abdominal area, if you let it hang out there long enough, if you let it linger there over a period of time, what it could potentially do is, it's been said that this fat around the abdominal area has been linked to several chronic diseases. For example, you got heart disease, you got type 2 diabetes, you got certain types of cancers have been linked to the fat around our abdominal area. So that's why it is imperative. That's why we need to show a sense of urgency. I'm talking to myself as well, that we must trim down that fat around that abdominal area if that applies to you. And if it doesn't apply to you, hey, I give you props, I give you kudos, and just continue to keep that fat away from the abdominal area, right? So yeah, that's what it is. So peace and blessings to you as you continue your journey. So let me know what you think about this topic. I shared with you a number of benefits of strength training. Let's just go down real quick. Increasing muscle tone. That's one of the benefits I shared with you. Improving functional strength, tasks that we do on a day-to-day basis. Very beneficial when it comes to strength training. It strengthens our bones, which could potentially combat osteoporosis. So that's another benefit I shared with you. Strength training enhances our mobility and flexibility, allows us to move around much easier with less pain, reduces the risk of fall or injuries, working on our balance, posture, and movement. And last but not least, as I mentioned before, probably one of my favorites, probably something that I'm keyed in, that I'm focused on, that is really, it has been brought to my attention, is that it decreases abdominal fat, just trimming away that fat, chopping it down, chopping it off, that type of thing. So yeah, let me know what you think about these. Out of any of these benefits that I shared with you, do you have a favorite benefit? Is there a specific thing that you're working on as far as benefits of strength training? And as I asked you at the beginning of the video, if you haven't did it as of yet, it's not too late. Let me know, what is your favorite strength training activity. I would love to receive your comments. I would love to receive your feedback. I am Reggie B. Once again, I am so appreciative of you all tuning into this video. And until the next time, keep growing and keep going.